goosebumps on that one.
He's the best leadoff hitter I've ever seen. He's the best player I've ever seen. I mean, he's just, it's fun to watch.
The greatest show on turf right now in Major League Baseball is Ronald Acuna. I don't think we've seen a week like this one in Braves history. The youngest player to have a home run 8 times in an 8-game span, and with 16 hits and 8 homers in an 8-game stretch, Ronald Acuna, like the Braves, is red hot on an upper 80-degree night here in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi again, friends. Joe Simpson, Jeff Francoeur, Chip Carey. The Braves will try to sweep away the Miami Marlins. The Atlanta offense is in high gear, and Joe, nobody is hotter in baseball right now than the superstar to be in left field, Ronald Acuna Jr.
How great is it that he's homered leading off the game 3 straight games? That's incredible. That gives the offense a little hop in their step. It leads to more runs. It helps everybody relax. It helped Charlie Culberson relax so much last night that he hit the first pitch he saw as the second batter in the game. But Jeff, as we all know, for Ronald Acuna Jr., it's not all about just about home runs.
No, and that's what's been the most impressive thing for me is he's going to hit 30 home runs a year, maybe even more, who knows. But to be one of the best players in the game, he's going to do what he's been doing. Hit the ball up the middle, guys. Take it the other way. If there's a hole open, take the free RBI. If he continues to do that, it's going to be incredible.
When you can outshine 4 All-Stars on your own club, you are having yourself quite a week, and that's exactly what Ronald Acuna Jr. is doing. He hopes to help Kevin Gausman win back-to-back starts in rotation for Atlanta. Braves try to sweep away the Marlins at SunTrust next. Atlanta has won 8 of its last 11 games, and guys, with this good work at home and this good work over the last 2 weeks, the Braves have taken advantage of the schedule and have moved 2 full games ahead of the Phillies in the National League's Eastern Division race. The Phillies are in action again tonight with the Boston Red Sox. The Braves are playing the Marlins. If everything goes Atlanta's way tonight, it could be a 3-game lead at the end of play this evening, and a lot of that will depend on Atlanta's offense, number 1, but number 2, Kevin Gausman, who was absolutely brilliant his last time out. His home debut couldn't have gone any better than it did.
I'll say he set the tone for that series when the Braves won 3 out of 4 by going 8 innings, gave up only 1 run and no walks. Struck out 8. He had all of his pitches working, including a good split finger pitch. Gausman, 27 years old, 6'3", 200 pounds, out of Centennial, Colorado. His 4 keys to the game tonight. Number 1, because of that line, how about a return engagement? I mean, right here in the same site, pitched just as well at home as you did here in your first start in a Braves white uniform. Good splits. Well, not about lefties and righties tonight. It's about his split finger pitch that was absolutely dazzling in that start against the Brewers. Let's hope he's got that working tonight also.
And he'll face a Miami lineup that's 48-74 on the year. Give them credit last night. They gave the Braves all they could handle in Game 3. In fact, they led 6-5 until the Braves got going in the 7th inning. But it has to be frustrating for them. A club that doesn't score a lot of runs scored 6 yesterday and still lost because they gave up 10. And that'll be the challenge for Jose Urena, who's batting 9th for Don Mattingly on his Toyota starting lineup card. There is a new face in their starting 9. That's Austin Dean in left field, just called up. He's making his debut in Fish Stripes tonight. So Gausman versus Ortega to get things started. Game 4. Braves trying to hand the Marlins their 5th consecutive defeat. And Gausman's first is off the plate, and we are underway. 86 degrees officially tonight at SunTrust Park. And Gausman tonight doing what he did in his last start, pitching out of the stretch. And that barely missed to Ortega, who got on base 4 times last night. 2 singles, a double, a walk, and he scored 2 runs.
I think one thing
called a strike. Beg your pardon, Jeff.
I think one thing that'll be interesting, guys, to see as we go tonight, when he really starts to use that changeup and rely heavily on it. You going to show it to him early, or are you going to try to get ahead with fastballs and then save it, Joe?
I think he's coming right here with it.
And Chad Fairchild saw that one miss low. 3 balls and a strike.
But they know the scouting report on him. They actually have seen him this year. They beat him. He went 5 2/3 innings against them, but only gave up 2 runs and still lost. Struck out 7.
And a base on balls to Ortega. This was the problem for Anibal Sanchez last night. The Miami leadoff man reached in 5 of the first 6 innings. Anibal went 5 innings and had the leadoff man reach in each of his first 4 frames of work. So Ortega's aboard in front of JT Realmuto, who had a big game, a 2-run homer and a 2-run single for the Miami catcher. Realmuto 5 for 8 in the series. He's walked 3 times and he's been hit by a pitch as well, so he's been on the bases a lot. Ortega's 3 out of 3 in steals, and Realmuto takes a strike. $15 homers, 58 driven in for Realmuto, and batting .296 for the year. 4 of his 15 homers have come against the Braves. Runner goes, pitch in the dirt, throw to second is on target, but late. So Ortega steals second base. Marlins have their 37th steal as a club, and Realmuto has an RBI chance with nobody out.
Good throw by Tyler. Tough pitch to throw on that short hop, but a good accurate throw.
I was going to say, if that's a fastball instead of a split right there, I think he's got him.
One ball, 1 strike. A walk and a stolen base for Miami to start the pitch. It missed inside. He's missed arm side a lot here early. 6 balls, 2 strikes for Gausman. A very different start than last time out, when he was throwing strikes with unbelievable consistency. 94 pitches, 71 strikes against the Brewers. And this one is lined to second. Realmuto hit it hard, but he's retired 1 out.
That's why baseball's so funny. You know, on paper, this would look like a matchup after going 8 innings. Joe, that he would just come out and dominate, especially if you're going to do that to a very good Brewers lineup.
Yeah, and challenge him.
So here's Brian Anderson. He's back at third base tonight. We are told he's been taking ground balls at third base pretty much every day for the Marlins. And again, with Dean getting the call up, they can move him back to third base, where he was terrific last year. Pitch is low and inside, ball one.
A little bit of reluctance on the part of the Marlins to move him to third base and let him play there because he's become such a good right fielder. But what do they got to lose, you know, in terms of preparing to build their team for next year? Find out if maybe he's better served to help your team at third than right field.
There's a good fastball at 94.
And I had a good talk with Don Mattingly today for a few minutes about that, and saying that, you know, it's kind of a weird time for them because these young guys are going to come up and get an opportunity to play, and they're excited. Yet these veteran guys kind of got to keep themselves excited to come to the park because they know they don't have a chance.
Out at the plate, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Marlins feel this guy should get a lot of consideration for the Rookie of the Year. As I saw online today, someone said it very well. With Soto and Acuna also vying for the Rookie of the Year, he picked a bad year to be his first for the big leagues. Anderson 5th in average. Tied for 5th in homers, 1st in RBIs, most multi-hit games for a rookie. And this one's dribbled toward third. That will curl foul. We'll do it again. Most doubles of any first-year player, most runs, most total bases. I mean, he's had a very, very successful and solid year in difficult circumstances in Miami.
Oh, he's had a great year. Rookie of the Year is such a weird award for me, for exactly what you just said. You got a guy like this who's obviously played great and deserves it, but you got Acuna, Soto. You could give it to either one of those guys.
Sure.
You remember Chipper didn't win it. Noma won it that year, and he was like 30.
Right.
So
1 ball, 2 strikes. Ortega at second, 1 out. And that one's hit up the middle, a base hit. Here comes Ortega around third. Ender loads up. Here comes his throw toward the plate. It's going to be close but late. And Anderson adds to his rookie RBI total, his 54th run driven in. And the Marlins cash in a leadoff walk and lead 1-0.
Ortega was 0 for 8 in the series until last night. He had a good night. As you said, Chip got on base a lot. He draws the walk, steals a base, and they cash him in.
that was a really good job by Ender coming up, gunning, but Ortega is just too quick.
Yeah, made it close.
So the leadoff walk comes back to haunt Kevin. And Starlin Castro's the batter. He's seen Gossman more than any other Miami hitter. This is his 31st at bat against him. Of course, Castro was with the Yankees. Gossman pitched with the Orioles, AL East rivals, who squared off quite a bit. Castro's 2-4-7 in the series. He's knocked in a run. He's the 3rd different man to bat cleanup in this series for Miami. Anderson, Dietrich twice, and now Starlin Castro.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, we've been lucky. Usually we have to deal with Justin Bour, the Braves killer. But since he's in Philly.
Little pop out of play. It's 0-2 for Castro.
Yeah, and they're missing Prado. They're missing Rojas. Martine's hoping to be back right at the end of that 10-day DL stint. Rojas might be back as early as Friday.
No balls, 2 strikes. Miami has an off day tomorrow. They then head to Washington for a 3-game series with the Nationals. And the way that things have gone for the Marlins, if the Nationals rotation holds, they'll probably have Max Scherzer for game 1 up at Nationals Park. In opposition, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Anderson at first. The pitch is grounded towards short. Might be 2. Ozzie with the turn, and a perfect throw retires Starlin Castro. So the damage limited to 1. The leadoff walk gives Miami a first inning lead, and Acuna's coming up. For the Braves, he's homered in 5 straight games, 8 total homers in that stretch. He's led off 3 consecutive games with a homer, and the man standing in the way is hard-throwing Jose Urena, who gets very little run support, and fellas has lost 12 of his 15 decisions on the year.
And he's really struggled against the Braves. One thing you need to take note of for Urena, he's hit 10 batters. He pitches inside a lot. His fastball is a sinker, and it runs in a lot. So if Acuna is going to keep that streak going, he's going to have to battle that, and we'll see what happens in the first inning tonight.
Acuna's hit 12 homers, 24 RBIs, and 25 runs scored leading off. And he got smoked on the very first pitch. Chad Fairchild right out in front of the plate. Acuna tosses the helmet down, and now in a crouch on the third base line. The very first pitch of the game nails Ronald Acuna Jr. And now the Braves are coming out of their dugout looking at Urena. And now both benches are going to empty.
Brad Snitker's leading the charge.
I don't blame Snip for being mad right here. And I'll tell you what, if the umpire Chad Fairchild, he should be tossed right here, Joe.
Absolutely he should. Absolutely he should. Meanwhile, Acuna is being tended to on the first right there. Both sides were concerned about this before it happened. Both sides. Marlins too. Unnecessary. Trying to make a statement, you don't have to do that.
Well, I'll tell you what right now, if he's not tossed, Chad Fairchild better let us do what we can do too, Joe. I'll tell you that. Because JT Realmuto might as well put a body armor up next time.
I'm concerned that Acuna is still on his backside sitting inside the third base line. He has been in that spot while this scrum took place on the mound. The very first pitch of this ball game hits Acuna flush, and let's see where.
Right on the elbow.
Yep.
Just above it. That wasn't a pitch inside. That wasn't a fastball that ran inside. That was aimed.
That's chicken you know what right there.
Acuna still hasn't gotten up.
Well, Urania threw his glove down like he was ready for all comers.
If he has to come out of this game because of this pitch, Urania should face an unbelievable suspension.
I've never seen Brian Snitker so mad.
This is as bad as it gets. You've got a rising young star that you're trying to send a message to, and all Acuna is trying to do is do his job, and he gets hit. Absolutely brutal.
George is motioning to the dugout for something.
And Acuna just flipped his arm pad onto the mound right at the feet of Urania. And Snitker is still hollering at Urania. Walt Weiss is out there too. Now the Marlins are coming back out.
I don't blame. I'll tell you what right now. There's EY. Okay, I'll tell you what, guys. This is your young superstar right here.
Yeah.
It's like in hockey when you got your stud, you got guys around him that are going to protect him, and I like to see this. I don't blame Snit.
It was intentional.
I'll tell you what, it's the first time in 2 years that I wish I was in uniform tonight.
Well, remember a few years ago in Bryce Harper's rookie year, he got hit. I think it was Cole Hamels that nailed him trying to send a message, and it was universally decried as a ridiculous move. What in the world is Urania, and what are the Marlins trying to prove in this situation with Ronald Acuna Jr.?
And Joe, I think with Snit, I don't think Snit would have been going as crazy if they would have tossed him right away. I think that's his thing, is wants to ask Chad Fairchild and the rest of the guys, how is he not thrown out?
Paul Nauert is crew chief. Jarek Young there in the helmet.
Bryant, I think, got tossed by Paul Nauert.
He shoved Anderson.
And again, we won't know till after the game. We may never know. My question is, where does this come from? Where did this come from? Whose idea was this? And who thought this was the smart thing to do? And now the four umpires are meeting in the center of the diamond. The first pitch of the game drills Acuna. He's standing at first base. And for the moment, Urania is still in the game. And you know the Braves are going to want to take their shot at some point, either tonight or when they go down to Miami. And to your point, Jeff, if there's a warning issue and Gossman hits somebody,
if he's not tossed right here, then there should not be a warning set right here.
If he's not tossed right here, this is not over.
No, it's not.
And
but you know what?
It's going to be more. And they just threw him out. And a warning issued.
Yep.
I don't think they threw Urania out.
They threw somebody out. They thought he pointed at him.
I think they did. I think they threw Urania out of the game. And because the umpires know exactly what could take place here, Urania's been thrown out of the game and warnings have been issued.
Joe, you know what I bet when they got together is exactly what you said. If we don't throw him out right now, we can't issue a warning. And if we can't issue a warning, this thing's going to get out of hand next inning.
Yep. It won't be the last time everybody's on the field. Chad Fairchild throws him out. Warnings to each side. And Don Mattingly out pleading his case, but it's a tough one to plead.
And again, whose idea was that? Now Acuna is walking off the field from his spot on first base. The Marlins will have to bring in a relief pitcher who I assume will have as much time as he needs to get ready.
Well, Ronald can get some treatment while all that's going on.
So Urania throws one pitch. It drills Acuna on the forearm or elbow. We're not sure exactly where. and was thrown out of the game. And then warnings were issued so that the nonsense can stop and we can get back to playing baseball.
Joe, you've played a long time. I'm just curious why we heard this before the game, why it's even a story. Because I'll say this, Ronald has not done anything crazy to pimp a home run, to flip his bat big time. You know, I mean, he's done a little bit, but who doesn't?
No, it's not even that, Jeff. It's just that it's almost like Urania took it upon himself to take care of business on the very
who
first
made him
pitch.
the cow?
Yeah. And like I said, this was a concern on in both clubhouses today, was what was Urania going to do in the first inning.
And I just think, you know what, that's, like I said, there's times to do stuff. That's just, to me, all that is, you know what, you've got your tail whip for 3 straight games. Come out and beat somebody. Don't do it that way.
Make a better pitch.
Well, and again, we're talking about a guy that is having one of the most remarkable weeks in the history of the game for his age, and is the talk of baseball, and for a sport that's trying to market itself and showcase its young stars. If Ronald Acuna Jr. gets seriously hurt on a pitch like that, that is terrible for the Braves, quite obviously, and it's just as bad, if not worse, for the rest of the game.
That's a baseball.
I'll tell you what,
and I'll be surprised if there's not, like you said, Jeff, I'll be really surprised if there's not a suspension that follows this. It was so obvious.
There should be. I'll be even more mad if Urania even tries to say that he didn't do it on purpose. Like, come on, pal.
Well, his out card, as Joe said, is 10 hit by pitches, but that wasn't.
Everybody knows. I'd rather have
him
him come out of this point and say I did it.
Wow.
But that's.
Well, it puts the Marlins in a gigantic bind. They've had to use their whole pitching staff this entire series, and now Urania is tossed from the game after throwing 1 pitch. Nobody has come out of the Miami bullpen as of yet to take over on the mound.
Well, whoever comes in ought to be loose. They ran in from the bullpen twice. They should be loose.
At least their hamstrings will be.
Yeah.
We don't know about their arms or not. So that's the young man getting ready. Hernandez looks like he'll be the man on in relief. As we've said, if you miss a pitch of Braves baseball, you miss a lot. And today's game, no exception against the Marlins.
Presented by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
Well, that was simply embarrassing by Jose Urania, who took it upon himself to nail a guy that's the talk of baseball, Ronald Acuna Jr. with the first pitch of the game. Acuna still getting treatment while sitting on the Braves dugout bench. Both clubs have left the field after this one went hunting, and there was no way for Ronald to get out of the way. And after a slight delay, bench is cleared, and Brian Snitker was leading the charge. He was as hot as we have seen him, pointing fingers, barking, yelling, bellowing at Jose Urena, who dropped his glove and was almost saying, "I welcome all comers." He was quickly surrounded by his teammates, as not once but twice the bench is emptied and met at the pitcher's mound here in Atlanta. So,
well, and you know
Brian
what?
Snitker, let me interrupt you, Jeff. I think Brian Snitker's been ejected from the game, and Urena was ejected from the game. And let's give credit to the umpires as well. At least in my opinion, they knew what this potentially could have turned into tonight. And the last thing the Braves want to be involved in is in a beanball war when you're trying to compete for a playoff spot and win a division. They defused this very well by finally agreeing that Urena had to go and then issuing the warning so that no more intentional hit batsman nonsense would take place in this game of the series.
You got to be a good teammate if you're a Miami Marlin. But if they knew or had any idea this was premeditated, it's mighty hard for them to go out there and stand in front of the guy or try to protect him, because they didn't want that to happen. This was all seemed to be on the mind of one guy, and that was Urena.
I couldn't agree more there. And I think what, as mad as Snit was that they didn't toss him at first, you got to think Snit's thinking bigger picture too. Not only is this guy crushing it right now, but we're 2 games up in first place. We're rolling. This is the last thing we can afford.
Absolutely.
Is to have this guy get hurt by some guy out there that's, like you said, taking sheriff into his own hands.
Yeah, it's
that's ridiculous, man. He should be suspended 10 games. And I, you know, I played with the guy. I like Jose Urena. I played with him. He's a nice guy, but I don't know if he lost his mind there or what. But you know, like I said, that's unacceptable right there.
I understand this is a game, guys, of performances, and you want to send messages and you want to support your teammate. How about the message that if you don't want to see a guy hit 8 homers in 5 games, how about pitch better? Right? I mean, how about not throwing fastballs right down the middle that are in his happy zone where he can hit them? I mean,
yeah, the old adage, if you don't like it, play better.
Exactly
Same
right.
thing.
I mean, that's to me the crux of the matter. And Acuna is going to grab his helmet and get a big cheer, and he'll take his place at first base, as I think it's Eliza Hernandez warming up to take Jose Urena's place on the mound for the Marlins.
I'm a little surprised that he threw so many pitches in the bullpen. I guess it doesn't matter where he throws them, as long as since he's given as much time as he needs to get loose. But he's now on the mound, ready to go.
And Joe, you called it up here when we were talking, and I think you said it right, because we're all trying to figure out what's going on in that mess. But if they don't throw him out right there, this game could have gotten really out of hand.
Warning or not, yeah, there would have been something happen that they would have the umpires would have regretted.
Absolutely. August 12th, 1984, I think it was, over at Fulton County Stadium, you had Pascual Perez and the Padres. That was 3 bench clearing balls, and that kind of thing escalated.
And it's one of my favorites, because you see the guy for the Padres, remember, in that one, come out with no shirt on, ready to go. I loved it.
It was a 97.5 mile an hour fastball. That's the fastest pitch he's ever thrown to open a game. You know, there's stats for everything. There's no hiding behind this. There's no place for him to go to somehow act like it got away from him. No way, no how.
So again, we ask rhetorically, whose idea was it? We will not know until the game is over. It would shock me if that was Don Mattingly's idea.
No way. No way Don Mattingly would have asked or called for that. Not a chance.
I agree with that. I don't. He's too good of a baseball guy to say, "Hey, let's do this." Well, I think Joe said, I think one person took it into his own hands.
Yeah, Don's smart enough to know that guys like Acuna are the future of the game. You can't risk getting him hurt because of some petty grievance. So Hernandez will take over with Ozzie Albies on the mound. Sometimes when a guy gets hit by a pitch, they want to take it out on the base pass. Let's see what happens here as Albies bounces one foul and out of play. Ozzie did not start yesterday's game. That move looked to be genius-like as Charlie Culberson hit the second pitch of the game out for a homer. Yesterday was a scheduled day off recommended by the Braves training staff to help Ozzie get over an injury he suffered earlier this year. He's good to go the rest of the way, we're told, as this one's popped up a mile high towards second. And Starlin Castro on the infield dirt will have room. And there's the first out. And here's Freddie Freeman.
And you know what we haven't even talked about really, Joe, is how this could change the game from a pitching standpoint, because now you got both sides warnings. Guy's going to try to come in as much, or are you staying away, staying off speed? Because you hit somebody, unless it's an off speed, there's a good chance you're gone.
Well, Chip pointed out that Gossman was missing arm side in the first inning to a right-hander. That might sail in on someone accidentally.
And that's where the difficulty for the umpires comes in. They can't read minds. They don't know what the intent is. But if you've issued a warning, if someone gets hit and that pitcher's not thrown out, well, then the offended party is going to go crazy and say, why is he still in the game?
Well, I'm so proud of Brian Snitker. He had every right to be as angry as he was. Walt Weiss.
EY, you saw him
now managing the club. Yeah.
Give it a little shove.
Yeah.
Ender was out there right away.
So here's Freddie Freeman. The pitch to him is downstairs, ball one. This can't help but fire up an already fired up Braves team, one would think. Braves have won their last 4 games. Are 16 games over 500 for the first time since the final day of the 2013 season. And a line drive into center. Freeman does it again. Acuna at second will stop. The throw back to second is off target, and the Braves have 2 on with 1 out.
I can tell you, I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the game, Joe, but I promise you this. Those players are going to be running hard, and they're going to be telling Ron Washington, even if we're up 15-1, you keep waving us.
Yeah.
Well, Hernandez is a guy that has dramatic home road splits. At home, a 2.43 ERA. On the road, he's given up 22 runs in 16 2/3 innings. That's in 7 games. So he's the fill-in guy. Hernandez, who made his big league debut against the Braves May 10th, pitched 2 scoreless relief innings. And for Miami, with a day off tomorrow, we might see their whole bullpen in this game.
Yeah, he's made 5 starts, so they've used him in a role like this before.
So Markakis the batter, and he takes off the plate. Nick leads the National League in hitting at .324 on the year, 4 points ahead of Freddie Freeman coming in. Nick also leads the league in hits, which stands to reason. He's got 150 of those. And outside, ball 2.
Yeah, Jose might have did something even worse by waking up a team that's already scoring 10 runs a game.
Exactly.
The Braves have scored a first inning run in their last 4 games. They're down 1-0 here after a very eventful first pitch here in the bottom of the first. Acuna the runner at second, Freeman at first, Nick Markakis ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Charlie Culberson is next as Hernandez brings it, and a fly ball slicing down the line in left, and Dean gives chase, won't have a play. It's now 2-2. Boston's jumped all over the Phillies. That's 3-0 in the 3rd inning at Citizens Bank Park. Keep an eye on that score. Nate Eovaldi and Vince Velasquez are the hurlers. Hey, all right.
Yeah. No, don't do it.
No. Grab him, Dad. Good job. 2-2. That missed inside, full count. I was encouraged he was a lefty.
And a little ornery too.
That's sweet. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. High pop into shallow left center. Dean is there. And his first chance in the big leagues is handled cleanly. 2 outs. Nick just missed.
Yeah, I want to show you this right here. You want to talk about a guy that you don't think is passionate and cares right here? Watch Nick after he misses this right here. When's the last time you've seen Nick do this? Watch him right here. He never shows any emotion.
No, he's fired up.
That's what I said. I said, you don't think these guys are playing for something right now?
So Charlie Culberson's the batter. 9 homers for him. And that one tomahawk high and in for a strike. Charlie's giving Johan Camargo a day off at third base. That'll be the challenge for Brian Snitker too. Managing playing time for the Braves, who do not have many off days left. Heading down the stretch for these final 6 weeks. And sprayed foul. It's 0-2. Next day off for the Braves is August 27th. That's after we wrap up our series in Miami with the Marlins. A day off September 13th and a day off September 24th. That is it for the Braves. 44 games left, 3 days off. And the 0-2 pitch is strike 3 called over the outside corner, and Hernandez restores some order and some dignity to the mound for Miami. The Marlins lead 1-0 after 1.
Go. Sometimes when your teammate does something, you feel responsible to try to protect them. Watch JT Real Muto here. Watch his head. First pitch. Looks up, looks down like, oh boy. There was an obvious reaction to that he didn't like.
Let me tell you, if he knows he's hit him, that is not his reaction right there, Joe. You said it. I think this is one person that decided to try to run the show.
Well, you see that heavy wrap on Acuna's arm, and while he's been throwing in the outfield, he is waving that left arm around just to try to keep the blood flowing up by that elbow. So hopefully he'll be all right the rest of the way. So it's 1-0 Miami. Dietrich, Dean, and Riddle are coming up for the Marlins. They cashed in a leadoff walk, and time is called.
Coming in.
Acuna's coming in. He signaled to the bench, and the second base umpire Carlos Torres noticed something, and it's looking like Acuna's not going to be able to continue.
Well, I'd say this right here. I bet you after he got hit, Joe, the adrenaline took over. He said, okay, I'm okay. And you get hit right on that little bone right there, it deadens it. And I guarantee you right now it's just dead. He can't really feel his arm.
Probably started throbbing a little bit. I think this is probably a good idea.
You see him, he's trying to get it loose, and I think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So Adam Duvall is going to trot out to left. This is a good idea, but this is bad for baseball, folks. It's as bad as it gets. When one man decides to take aim at a talented young kid who's done nothing but do his job, absolutely brutal.
Something else that comes to mind, even if you thought going out there as Urania that, you know, I'm going to take matters into my own hand, you wouldn't do it on the first pitch and be that stupid and do it on the make it so obvious.
You wouldn't even do it the first AB to me. You'd wait till the second, third, and say, okay, it's the fifth inning now. I ran one in.
That was just stupid.
I tell you what, I'd tell Ronald to go in there and have a beer with Snit and hang out, but he's only 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think an exception can be made under these circumstances, right? So Duvall's going to take over in left. He's going to be the leadoff guy. And I mentioned the Cole Hamels Bryce Harper fracas a few years ago when Hamels was with the Phillies and Harper was in the early days of his career. When Hamels nailed Harper, he got suspended 5 games. So there is precedence for a circumstance similar to what Urania pulled off in Game 4 tonight. So here's Derek Dietrich. Strike one to the Marlins first baseman. Nobody on or out. And that just missed.
Well, it just stinks because there goes the chance for a streak.
Yep.
You know, he got, I mean.
Wasn't an official at bat, so maybe it continues.
Does it?
I hope so.
1 ball, 1 strike for Dietrich. And that one wasn't quite as good as the pitch that preceded, but that one's called a strike.
It's going to be hard not to add on things here and comment, but I've got one more.
First, the 1-2 pitch and fouled away.
And I know that sent shockwaves through a lot of people, but he's already hit how many home runs in this series? 4?
4.
Yeah.
If someone on their team took exception to what he was doing, don't you think they would have tried to move him back or knock him down or hit him long before now?
Well, that's what
if they did, they would have done so. Urania took it in and spun himself.
Ground ball to right center, a base hit for Dietrich. And if they had pitched him inside, if they had tried to push him off the plate, I don't think there's a single person in the ballpark who would have taken exception to it.
Exactly.
That's baseball.
Absolutely.
What we saw tonight was WWE stuff that has no place in the game.
If I was Jose first pitch night, I would have ran a 2-seamer right in there to back him off the plate. Not even for a strike, but where he threw that one, you can't even say it was.
No excuses. Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say that this young man's never going to forget his first major league game.
First inning. Yeah.
Austin Dean.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Welcome to the big leagues. And he had a terrific run going in the minor leagues for the Marlins. And he takes a strike. Marlins had to make room on their 40-man roster. They traded Odrisamer Despaigne to the Angels for cash. They sent Bostic to AAA and brought Dean up. And Dean had to be placed on the 40-man roster. Otherwise, he might have been exposed in the Rule 5 draft. And with 12 homers, 68 RBIs, fellas, and a .345 average for a team that's starved for offense, starved for outfield play, why not bring him up?
It's a perfect time because he was just named the PCL Player of the Week, hitting .465 for the month of August with 4 homers, 6-game hitting streak. He was on a tear.
So no balls, 2 strikes. And that just missed. He's out of Spring, Texas, a 4th-round pick by the Marlins back in 2012.
I mean, the next 6 weeks, like you said, Joe, are pretty much open tryout for these guys.
Sure
besides 3-4 people.
Smoke to center, and Ender retreats, and he's got room, and he puts it away. Hard hit ball, but Dean's retired. Back to first is Dietrich, and 1 out.
That was a really good changeup he's thrown there. I know it's been kind of low tonight. He hadn't seemed to get the feel for it yet, but that had some nice bite right at the bottom of the zone. Good pitch.
Yeah, and Kevin's first start, he had 3 base runners in the first 2 innings. He was aided in the second inning against Milwaukee by the pitcher Peralta. He grounded out to end the threat and then put it in cruise control, retiring 12 consecutive Brewers hitters. So hopefully he can ease in and hold them to that first inning run and wait for the Braves bats to catch up. Last 11 games, Atlanta #1 in Major League Baseball in homers, hits, and slugging percentage. So you figure 1 won't be enough for Miami tonight. At least that's your hope. Riddle 1 for 10 in the series. Takes a little low, ball 1.
Good pitch, though. Good breaking ball. Riddle really struggling, not just in this series. His average down to 213.
2 for his last 19 at the plate for Miami. And the 1 balls no strike pitch is off the plate, 2-0.
I'm still not over the first pitch. I'm fuming.
I know you are.
I think you said it best. The Marlins have nothing to lose. We have everything to lose.
Sure.
Well, I stand by what I said. Bad decision, even worse for baseball. 2 balls, no strikes. And the pitch is up and away, ball 3. That's where Kevin's missed most of the time tonight. And he's about to throw his 31st pitch of the game.
And again, did not walk a batter in those 8 innings against Milwaukee.
That one over for a strike. It's 3-1. Nearius Sierra is the Marlins center fielder. He waits on deck. And it's ball 4. So 2 on again. This time with 1 out. And a tough man to double up. Sierra is the hitter. It was said of Kevin Gausman in Baltimore that at times he had great stuff, but it was inconsistent stuff. He would look all world in one start and look like a mere mortal in his next. It's very early in this game, and it's very hard to match 71 strikes and 94 pitches, but I think we'd agree not as sharp tonight as he was in his last.
No, and the word I got from a lot of the Orioles guys that I know was untapped potential.
Let's see if he can get Sierra here. The pitch is downstairs, ball 1.
I don't know if he's not feeling comfortable with his fastball tonight, Joe, or not, but he's throwing a lot of changeups, even early and 3-1 counts, 0-0 right there.
That's something the Braves had done early in this series, though, Jeff, was they established the breaking ball early. Toussaint, Fulton Nevich, they were throwing more breaking balls early to this good fastball hitting team, but he needs to establish it.
And I don't think I mind that when you're talking about Real Muto, Anderson, Castro, Dietrich, but as you get to the bottom of the lineup here, you know, those are kind of some of the quick outs, I feel like.
1 ball, 1 strike. Line foul. He's got him set up. Sierra's hitting a .188. 16 strikeouts, no walks. But he showed some of his potential last night. Hit the ball on the ground 3 times, reached 3 times, and scored 2. And blazing speed. Pitcher due next. First, the 1-2 pitch. The 2-2 is fouled at third. Ballpark was buzzing before first pitch. I think it's safe to say, guys, there's kind of a flatness right now after the first inning.
I love seeing the fans get all into it, and they know what they got out there.
Uh-huh.
Now the 2-2 pitch. And missed inside. First time he's missed into a lefty, and it's a full count. You've got the pitcher next. Dietrich at second, Riddle at first. Line drive toward left. Duvall's first chance, and he makes the catch cleanly. Gossman had to work overtime to get Sierra, but he did get him. And here's the pitcher, Hernandez, with 2 outs and 2 on.
He's 0 for 10 this year with 7 strikeouts.
And that was an example there. You talk about the sequence. First pitch was his changeup, ball. Then he went fastball, fastball, fouled it off, and then he went to another couple pitches and then 3-2 fastball, and he just, you know, hit a weak ball to left field. That's what I'm saying. I think it's different if you throw 90. When you got 95, 96, get ahead.
Hernandez was originally in the Astros system. Marlins got him in the Rule 5 draft. One of 30 players acquired by the Marlins from the end of last season to this year, and before the trade deadline in 2018.
How many?
30.
Wow.
They were very, very busy in trying to restock their minor league system. The 0-1. That's fouled at the plate. Now it's 0-2. Yeah, Gary Denbo is the right-hand man to Derek Jeter. He's his manager in rookie ball, I believe. Mike Hill is still in the Marlins baseball operations and front office. They've got a lot of international money they've accrued. They figure to be active in that market this offseason. As Gossman delivers an 0-2 and blocked by Tyler. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, there was a nice story online about Derek Jeter and the Marlins and what they're trying to do, where they're going, what their plan is. And I thought it was a very complimentary story to Derek, and I compliment him on what he's trying to do in the community out there and basically overseeing every decision that's made and being involved. You know, you hope that it works out the way they want it to. One of the things he's got going that I really like.
As this one's on the ground to second, and it'll be the end of the inning.
And that is, if you're going to try to help the Latin players speak English, they're going to have the Caucasian players, the American players, learn to speak Spanish. And I think that's wonderful.
Braves team. And this right here, rail, players will come up, they'll give me knuckles sometimes. It's kind of neat. I like it, but I interview the guys. I love what the Braves have going. In case you missed the first pitch of the game, Urania hit Acuna in the arm. It was deliberate right at him. There was no apologies. Brian Snitker came out and got tossed. And it was really hard for me to stay in the well as players got out on the field. Brian Snitker got huge points with me. If you ever think Brian Snitker's not fight for his players, you watch that video. He has been outstanding. The response in the dugout, people could not contain themselves, and security guards had to hold back fans on the front row over in the corner who wanted to take the field in charge, the Marlins. I have never seen a debacle so bad with a young man who's 20 years old that has the home run streak for consecutive games on the line, get that taken from him, trying to stay in the game, having to come out of the game in the second inning. It was brutal. It's not over. I'm finished. Guys, I will try really hard to stay in the well the next time something happens. Back to you guys.
Attaboy, Paul.
Yeah, you're in fighting shape too.
I have been training.
Well, we saw the guns the other day. No need to go back to that.
And that guy right there at the corner of the dugout, Walt Weiss, is the baddest dude in the game.
Yeah.
He's a submission artist.
I was going to say.
So if you notice, there's people that are not going to mess with Walt.
So Ender Inciarte leads off the second inning for the Braves. Let's take this a step further. You guys have been in games like this. You've seen players ejected. You've seen guys get hit. How hard is it to compartmentalize your anger at Urania and then focus your attention on the task at hand, which is a new pitcher, new circumstance, and you're down a run after an inning and a half?
Well, I'm up here, and like I said, I'm so fired up. I said, as tough as it is, these guys are going to have to find a way to calm themselves down, get back in there and have good at-bats, because when you saw Linder right there, you want to come out and just hit a 6-run bomb on one pitch. But if we get back to our game plan, we'll get the last laugh in this one.
To second, Castro will make the play, and there's the first out. So a new look at the Braves lineup. It's presented by Toyota. The game started with Acuna leading off after he had to come out of the game before the top of the second inning. Adam Duvall took over for him in left field. Charlie Culberson giving Camargo a day off. Tyler Flowers alternating starts with Kurt Suzuki. Swanson and Gossman 8th and 9th for now acting manager Walt Weiss. Brian Snitker and Jose Urania thrown out in the first inning. And if there's a fine for Brian Snitker, it needs to be appealed post haste.
Agreed. Tyler got blunked the other night on the arm. I asked him today before the game if it was sore, if he was okay. He said, yeah, it's fine. He said it was more of a glancing blow. Didn't hit him real solid. So no elbow guard.
No balls, 2 strikes from Eliza Hernandez. And that slid off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cubs won today. They beat Milwaukee 8-4. Kyle Hendricks gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. Anthony Rizzo hit a homer. So the Cubs get a game back head-to-head with Milwaukee. That series split at a game apiece. Fly ball to right. It'll be handled by Ortega, who's got it. And quickly 2 out in the Atlanta second for Dansby.
Hernandez last pitched 3 days ago against the Mets, but he went 3 innings. Gave up only 1 hit, but no runs, no walks, struck out 3.
Dansby had an RBI double last night. That was part of the Braves' 4-run 7th inning. And had a good cut at that one and fouled it straight back. It's 0-1. 43 RBIs for the Braves shortstop. 21 doubles now. Double his first hit of this series. The 0-1 pitch, and he couldn't stop himself. It's 0-2. Colorado's in Houston tonight. We'll welcome the Rockies to town here tomorrow night. Houston leads them 3-0 in the second.
Yeah, Houston, we were talking about, they've been scuffling at home. Lost 9 in a row.
Well, it's kind of nice for Houston. They've got Garrett Cole going. They've got a lot of insurance policies in that rotation. Cole's had some trouble of late, however, but leads in the early going at Minute Maid Park. Here it's 1-0 Houston. They cashed in a leadoff walk to Ortega. Anderson drove him home with a 1-out single. And the 1-2. Strike 3, Anthony. Swanson caught looking, and Hernandez has a pair of strikeouts in 2 innings of relief. .85 degrees, clear skies. Getting a little more humid here in Atlanta. Should be humid this weekend, but good crowds expected all weekend. We've got the Chipper Jones bobblehead day coming up on Saturday. A couple of post-game concerts Saturday and Sunday, I believe. Final 4 games of what has been a very productive Atlanta homestand. And you can meet Ronald Acuna Jr. on August 31st when the Braves come back from Pittsburgh and Miami. You'll meet Ronald, take a photo with him, and get an autograph. Then you'll head down to the field to watch the Braves take batting practice before the game. Space is limited, so get your VIP meet and greet tickets today at braves.com/VIP.
Man, my phone has blown up.
I can't.
I mean,
same way.
There are irate Braves fans.
You know what? There's irate Braves fans, but I'll tell you this. I've had 6, 7 people that I really respect in baseball with no allegiance to Atlanta or what the Braves do have all text me and said complete Bush League.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that just says it all right there. If it was just Braves fans, you know, some people might say, home team this, but it's everybody.
Right.
As you said, everybody in baseball is mad they didn't get to see a chance to see if he could do it again tonight.
As I said, he's the greatest show on turf right now in the game. And because one guy thinks he has a vendetta, he did something really, really bad for the game. And we hope Ronald's not hurt seriously. If he's got to come out of the game, you know that arm is hurting. And we'll await an update on him as the night goes on. Meanwhile, Kevin Gossman will face the top of the order here. Let's see if he can find his command. He's thrown a total of 44 pitches, 19 balls. He's fallen behind a lot of hitters in the early going. And he took a little off, got that one into Ortega, who walked and scored the first run of this game. Two balls and a strike. And that's some good movement to it. And it got a good result. It's an even count for Ortega, who will be followed by Real Muto and Anderson. That one didn't stick. Tough break. And we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That is where he's missed.
Yeah, he just can't dial that in yet.
Joe, what was one of your best brawls?
Couple of them. Both with Kansas City. One against the Angels. One against Toronto.
3-2. He is popped up left side. Culberson at the third base bag in foul ground. There's the first out.
Al McRae charged the mound in Toronto, and then Tim Foley charged Larry Gura, the pitcher for our Royals, one night in Anaheim.
Well, Joe's an excellent catch, if you'll pardon the pun, with Real Muto up there after the Acuna hit by pitch. Oftentimes when a hitter gets plunked, the catcher goes out and tries to make peace with the offended party. They stand in front of him just in case that hitter thinks about making a move to the mound. Acuna walked down the third base line, and Real Muto didn't move toward him at all. And had that look of disbelief after the first pitch of the game. And that one shot toward Freddie. Nice backhanded stab on a hard hit ball. Boy, he's hit it on the button a couple of times tonight, and frankly all series long. 2 outs.
You know how Real Muto acted reminded me, you remember, I don't think it was was it last year or 2 years ago that Hunter Strickland hit Bryce Harper out in San Francisco. And remember, Buster Posey got a lot of grief from people because they said he didn't look like, you know, and I remember kind of hearing that people were saying, because Hunter Strickland had no reason to hit him. Bryce hit a couple home runs in the postseason against him.
Well, that's why he did it.
No, I get it, but I'm saying that's what reminded me today, like kind of like, you know, I'm on your team, so I'm not going to show you up, but at the same time, I'm not coming out to defend you.
Yeah, you want this fight, go get him.
Exactly.
Right? As Brian Anderson has the lone run scoring hit. Anderson back at third base now with 54 RBIs. He's played an excellent right field the first couple of games of this series. And this one's popped up. Freddie Freeman in foul ground over near the stands, might have a chance. Nope, it's 3 rows up. Nice catch.
Watching Snick get all fired up tonight. I remember in Double-A when he was my manager, we were in Montgomery to start the season, a 4-game series, and we got waxed. I mean, they beat us to a pulp. And we ended up getting in a little bean brawl, and next thing you know, the bench is clear and all this. And after the game, you know, we didn't know what Snit was going to do. He comes in there with a cooler and says, "Hey, let's have a beer, get on the bus, and let's go, boys. I've never been so proud of y'all." And I think we ran off 9 in a row after that. But you don't think he's got his players' backs?
Absolutely, especially a 20-year-old kid.
That's what, talking to Snit today, that was his big thing. He said, I've just had such joy watching him play the last 6 days. I mean, even more than that, but especially the last 6 days, just thinking, wow.
No balls, 2 strikes, base is empty for Anderson. And a bouncing ball left side. Big hop for Dansby, and the throw to first in time. And Kevin Gossman will lead off the home third. Down a run. Game 4. Braves trying to sweep the Marlins. Duvall and Albies are coming up. That's right. If you just joined us, Ronald Acuna had to leave the game. He was hit by the first pitch thrown by Jose Urena, and Urena was thrown out. Acuna came out after 1 inning. So Eliza Hernandez is on in relief. He starts his 3rd inning. And Gossman takes ball 1. Kevin, in his last start against the Braves, walked in the 2nd inning. See if he can start a Braves rally here. And a line drive that's going to get down and left. Dean almost took out a divot. And Gossman with a base hit, his first in the big leagues.
That was a bullet, too.
Yeah. Get that baseball.
Maybe Fulte's hit the other night got everybody going.
You know that. Well, Sabatka, I think, made
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
made everybody stand up, take notice.
I got to get on you, Joe. This not saying get a knock as one of your forward keys for the pitchers is really getting old.
Yeah.
It's 2 days in a row, but a good start for the Braves. Here's Duvall. You don't think he could step in and hit a home run right here, do you? Wouldn't that be something?
Awesome.
As that one's off the plate, ball 1. So there's that first base hit for Kevin. And a 1-0 count. Almost hit him. Duvall is 2 for 18 in his 8 games with the Braves, who acquired him from the Reds for Matt Whistler, Lucas Sims, and outfielder Preston Tucker. The 2-0. Ball 3.
Well, I think for Adam, he's just got to get comfortable. He's got to relax. I remember in 2010, I went from the Mets to the Rangers, and I was 1 for my first 11 when I got there. And Ron Washington, who was our manager, I remember told me, hey, just relax. You know, I was bought in to hit lefties, and it's the same kind of thing where you know, he wants to help this team so bad that, you know, he's pressing.
Yeah, well, and it's hard when you're not getting at bats every night, too.
Yeah.
They make an announcement about the streak.
It will continue.
Good.
Via Rule 9.23. Fly ball. He just missed. And it's a full count.
And you said, you almost get the feeling that he's 1 hit away, 1 gap or 1 whatever, just to be able to breathe and say, you know what, I'm contributing.
So Gossman leads at first after a base hit. Nobody out. The pitch is lifted toward right, and Ortega's got plenty of room to handle that. So there is out number 1. Let's check in again with Paul.
Well, Mark Bowman just tweeted out, per MLB rules, because Acuna's only plate appearance resulted in him being hit by a pitch, his home run streak will be intact when he returns to action. Let's hope that's sooner than later.
Yep, Rule 9.23 is the official rule book which covers such circumstances. And you're right, Paul. Hopefully he'll be back as soon as tomorrow. Here's Ozzie. And that one caught a corner. Strike 1.
The thing about the rest of this game for Atlanta is Urena's gone, and you can't play mad. You can play with a little edge, you know, and really want to come back and win this ball game, of course. But somehow, you know, trying to maybe do it all yourself with one big swing, that's not the way things have been going so well for the Braves. It's been up and down the lineup, putting hits together.
And I saw Seitz a minute ago walk up and down. I bet he's trying to calm down the guys. Say, listen, let's get back to our approach and what we've been doing.
Popped up. Shallow center. Riddle drifts back and has room. 2 outs. So Ozzie's popped up twice, once to second, once to the shortstop. He's been scuffling a bit from the left side the last 30 days or so.
And you see the
Freddie
frustration.
Sorry,
Chip. You see the frustration from Ozzie there too. He threw it down, and that, I guarantee, that has a lot more to do with
wanting to get revenge than it
Right.
does making an out.
Right. Get a little payback for his pal.
So Freddie's the batter. He has one of the 2 Atlanta hits. And didn't get that one. It's a swing and a miss. Freddie's our SunTrust confidence player. That is what you call a good week.
Yeah. 330 on the OPS. That's piling it on.
To center. Sierra on the run is going to get there. Awkward catch, but he made it. And Gossman's leadoff single is wasted by the Braves in the 3rd. It's 1-0 Miami.
Your local Ford dealer, the Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by never mixing drinking and driving.
Miami 1, Atlanta nothing after 3 here at SunTrust Park. While we have a moment, let's enjoy our This Date in Baseball history, brought to you by Geico. 18 years ago today, former owner Ted Turner and Dale Murphy, who won the National League's Most Valuable Player Awards in back-to-back seasons in 1981 and 82, are inducted into the Braves Hall of Fame, joining Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews, Phil Niekro, and Warren Spahn. The popular Gold Glove and Silver Slugger outfielder spent 15 years with the Braves, batting .268 and hitting 371 homers as an Atlanta Brave.
That was a good day.
You bet.
It was a great day.
You got any other Hall of Famers in here?
We do.
Oh, really?
That was a great night, too.
Yes, it was.
Wonderful thing.
So a live look in at SunTrust Park on our Xfinity cam. Nice crowd. Braves down a run as Gossman will face Castro, Dietrich, and Dean in the 4th inning.
Tell you, wonder if there's some people around the Battery here that maybe were at their house watching the game on TV and like, you know what, I'm going to get a ticket and go over there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could have got here in 10 minutes, got a ticket.
And let me correct that note on Dale Murphy. He won the back-to-back MVPs, not in 81 and 82 as the card was written. It's 82 and 83. So I want to make sure we got that correct for you. Dale's also a member of the Oregon Sports Hall of Fame. Did you know that?
I did not.
And he's become a great restaurateur here in town.
Really pushes his cheese curds.
Really?
Yeah. Keeps telling me to get out there and try them. That was my childhood hero.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Shoot, my dog right now is named Murph.
There you go.
1 ball, no strikes for Starlin Castro, who's doubled up in the 1st inning. And this one's lifted toward right. Markakis retreats. That ball is into the monkey grass. An opposite field homer for Starlin Castro. And Miami extends the lead. Tenth homer for Castro. And it's 2-0 Fish in game 4.
He had some good luck against Gossman in the past. 10 for 30, but no homers, and he had also struck out 9 times. But he got a pitch up. Nice piece of hitting the other way.
And a fan in the chop house seats throws back that obviously defective baseball.
That's one difference to me. The biggest difference in this stadium and Turner Field was, as a right-handed hitter, it used to be so tough to hit a home run to right field where they just went right there. I mean, you had to really crunch it to get it out.
So Derek Dietrich bats. He's got a single tonight and taken downstairs.
Yeah, especially to that 390 mark right by the bullpen.
Yeah.
Phillies have tied the Red Sox 3-3. That game moves to the 5th inning at Citizens Bank. And foul at the plate. I heard a note today about Rhys Hoskins. Yesterday or today would be the anniversary of his debut in the big leagues. He's played 155 major league games. He's hit 40 home runs. He too, I think, has to be in the MVP discussion for Philadelphia. He's having a great year.
Indeed.
1-1 pitch is caught on and missed. Dietrich strikes out a lot. He's done that 115 times, and Gossman's got him set up.
Hoskins is perfect for that park. It reminds me of Ryan Howard when he was there, because he could just hit it out to any part of the park at any time so easy. I remember I used to watch Ryan Howard just flick it. Y'all remember that to left field 10 rows up.
Just fly balls.
Well, so far after 3+ innings, Gossman's only given up 2 runs. He's only given up 3 hits, but he's had to throw a lot of pitches, and getting strike 1 has been a challenge for him. He does not yet have a strikeout in the game, and that split change, which was so effective against the Brewers, has not been as good tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that's golf to the right side. Ozzie, a nice play and a bullet to first. There's some of that great range by Albies at second. He covered a lot of ground, and there's the first out.
Did you see how low that pitch was? I'm not so sure that Dietrich's bat didn't drag the ground a little bit. Look how low this pitch is. He did golf it, Chip.
That was my sweet spot right there.
Right there, about
right there.
6 inches off the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So here's Austin Dean. Dean flied out to center in his first big league at bat and takes strike 1.
I wonder too, I haven't asked him any of the pitchers, but I wonder how it is too when you're preparing, Joe, for, you look at Dean, Riddle, Sierra, Ortega, guys you don't know, even though there's numbers and stats, you know, of where Kevin faced the Brewers, you know, all those guys.
Sure.
They got books on them.
Mm-hmm. Got to do a lot of video, even picking up games from the minor leagues in the case of Dean, because he was only in spring training for 1 game. He had a good day, went 2 for 2, had a double. That's the only game he played in all spring for Miami.
It's amazing sometimes when you go look at the end of the baseball season and how many guys will come up and help your team that weren't even in big league camp.
Right there, a strike. It's 2-2. Little tapper. Gossman can't get it. Charlie does with a bare hand. Got his man. Good play.
Wow. Great play.
Coaching staff refers to Charlie Culberson as the secret weapon. You can put him anywhere, play him anywhere in the lineup, batting order wise, and he does something to help you.
I call that play the Chipper Jones play, because I don't know about your era, Joe, but for me, Chipper did that better than any other third baseman.
In his career, there was nobody better at that.
So here's JT Riddle, 2 quick outs after the Castro homer to extend the lead to 2-0. You mentioned that Gausman has faced the Marlins before this season, as this one's cracked to center. On June 15th, he faced off with Miami, fell 2-0. The opposing pitcher, Jose Urena. It's 2-0 Marlins, middle of the 4th inning. Nick had a great honor afforded him before the game, and that's tonight's Synovus Greatness Made Here feature. Nick Markakis is the 2018 Heart and Hustle Award winner for the Atlanta Braves.
Presented to him by Don Sutton. That is a great honor right there.
I think Nick might have been that 2 years ago when I was here, which, I mean, makes complete sense.
So a great honor, nice bonus trophy to go to the trophy case after Markakis earned his first National League All-Star berth. Let's see if Atlanta can get something done against Harlan Garcia, who's the 3rd pitcher of the night for Miami. Hernandez did a nice job, 3 innings of 2-hit shutout ball with a couple of strikeouts after Urena was thrown out of the game.
Garcia pitched in game 1 of the doubleheader Monday, 2 innings, 3 hits and a run. Walked a batter, 2 strikeouts, low 90s with a slider.
And he delivers a strike.
He's got some pretty good stuff, but maybe this will calm us down a little bit. A new pitcher, see a new arm, and see if we can get after it.
This has turned into one of those dreaded bullpen games that the Braves saw against the Tampa Bay Rays and had trouble. That's something the Braves talked about after that series, is the difficulty of getting into a rhythm at the plate, because you're seeing a new pitcher every time you come to the batter's box.
And I'm still torn on that. I'm 50-50, because I believe if you throw 5 pitchers, 6 pitchers out there, there's going to be 1 or 2 of those guys that are not going to be on that day. You would think.
Well, hopefully Garcia won't be, as he's ahead 1-2. And a fly ball to center. Sierra playing deeply, drifts back shy of the track, has room, 1 out. So here's Charlie Culberson. He struck out to end the Braves first. Culberson giving Camargo the night off at third base this evening. And Charlie, against the division, is our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Well, that's just in keeping with the way the Braves have played against the NL East this year. Great average in OPS. 7 of his 9 homers. Awesome.
Fly ball well hit toward the gap. Dean on the run, still going. Not going to get there. It's off the base of the wall. Sierra played it well. And Charlie Culberson followed the script. A ringing double. And that brings the tying run to the plate here in the Braves' 4th.
That nice easy swing that gets the bat out front.
And you talk about him being so big. I mean, think about it. Ozzie being able to get a night off last night. No problem. We can put Charlie there. Camargo needs a night off. No problem. Kind of reminds me of my good buddy old Mark DeRosa when he was down in Texas playing 4 days a week all over the field to give people a breather.
Anders grounded out to second his first time up.
That's a good call, Jeff. In fact, his swing is a little bit like D Rose in that it's short. It's top hand coming off the bat.
Both got great hair.
That
might be the most important factor. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. How's D Rose blood pressure after the events of the bottom of the first?
Ooh.
Ender hitting .298 after the All-Star break for the Braves. And Culberson's going to take third. A great stolen base. Now the Braves in a spot where a fly ball could get him a run, and Ender's way ahead. 3 balls, no strikes.
That's another thing. You just can't put a value on this. This is a guy who was paying attention to how many looks Garcia was giving him and took full advantage.
And I just get the feeling if the Braves get one, it may be a while before they stop scoring in this game. All that pent-up emotion. Chance to get something started here. Runner at third, 1 out. 3-1 pitch. Is bounced toward first. And the Marlins will concede the run. Dietrich takes the out. The stolen base pays dividends, and the Braves are on the board. It's 2-1.
That way, you know, you just make contact, put it in play, and get that guy in. Great job by Ender.
Yeah, everybody wants that double or triple to keep it going, but as you said, Joe, got to get that 1 run right there.
All you got to do is put it in play.
And like you said, hopefully we can calm down. Baseball's so much different. You know, you rarely get the chance to bring the football mentality out like the guys feel tonight. You know, we were just talking about it during the break. In hockey, you got the bruiser guys that go out there and are going to get the penalty minutes and fight. Football, you can hit somebody. Baseball is different.
So a 2-1 game now. Tyler Flowers, the 7th place hitter. Ender with his 48th RBI cuts the lead in half. And that misses upstairs to the Braves catcher, ball 2.
The other part about Ender's ground ball there is against a lefty. He's having better at bats lately against left-handed pitching.
Had a big double against Conley last night down on the line.
3-0. And a 4-pitch walk puts the tying runner aboard with 2 outs.
You know, another thing, when y'all were talking, I know y'all both were down in Tampa and talking about a bullpen day. I feel like they're built for that. That was kind of their plan in motion. Remember, was to have a bullpen day, whereas the Marlins, you know, no offense, but they're not built for a bullpen day.
You're right.
And if my memory is correct, after they traded Chris Archer to the Pirates with Blake Snell hurt, after that trade, they had no available starting pitchers. Everybody is true a relief pitcher. And they had guys that started, but they were long relievers pitching an inning or 2 to start the game.
Well, it's funny how that stuff happens. Archer's gone up to Pittsburgh. I don't think he's done much at all up there. And Glasnow and some of those guys are down there throwing really well for Tampa.
And we'll see the Rays twice, 28th and 29th this month here at SunTrust. Another long homestand. The pitch is skied towards center. Sierra going back. Track. One. Gone. he's floating around the bases. How good does that feel? Atlanta leads. What I tell you, get one, and the offense might take off.
Didn't miss one down the middle. Talked to him before the game. I said, you know, that ball you whistled past Riddle last night and that past the shortstop, you were right on that. And he said, I'm getting closer.
Now the chop house is chanting. Atlanta has its first lead. And Gossman puts it in play. Castro at second. His throw to first. And that retires the side. Flowers draws a key walk, and then Swanson homers to straightaway center. Park, that was a very big two-out homer.
How about this crossing home plate, though? How about a salute to his teammate, Ronald Acuna?
You know, that had to feel good.
Just as Ronald Acuna Jr. would do it.
And, you know, you were talking, Joe, about him saying he's close and feeling it. And we were talking the other day about the little things he needs to do. And watch right here. We talk about him hitting off his front side too much. Look at that. That foot right there digs in the ground. That's called hitting off your front side there, where you're just in a great position. You're not out in front of the ball. And he did that last night on the hit, the big hit to go up 7-6 before Acuna's home run. And right there, and if he continues to get in that kind of hitting spot, you can look up at the end of the season, he's going to be hitting 280.
Well, I've tried to talk about that before, Jeff, with respect to the hitting fundamental you're speaking of, that if your body keeps going, everything is slow. Your hands drag through the zone. But when that foot gets down there firmly and it stops, then it's like centrifugal force almost. The hands then explode and fire through the zone.
And that's where you get that backspin on your ball like that. To hit it out to dead center like that, you got to really back up a ball and hit it good.
So a 3-run fourth for the Braves turns the game around. And now Kevin Gossman staked to a 1-run lead. Will face Sierra, the pitcher's spot, and then Ortega. The 5th inning presented by Audi and Q5. Braves pinch in case Sierra thinks about a bunt. He showed it, but took a strike. Gossman exclusively out of the stretch again tonight. Misfired there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he's got the perfect part of the order to have a shutdown inning You know, now that he has the lead, get after him.
A ball and a strike, and a fly ball softly hit right to Markakis. There's a good start. And the top of the 5th begins with Sierra flying out for the 2nd time. And here's Miguel Rojas. He'll hit for Harlan Garcia, who gave up 3 runs, 2 hits in an inning. The walk to Flowers was a big play, as was the stolen base by Charlie Culberson, and of course the Swanson home run.
So Rojas was expected back Friday. He's back a little earlier, at least just to pinch hit.
The Marlins lost 2 third basemen in the same day in the doubleheader. Martin Prado had to leave with a quad problem that forced him to the disabled list. And then Rojas hurt himself in game 2 of the double dip, going from 1st to 3rd on a base hit. He was thrown out by Acuna and had a ankle contusion that cost him a little bit of time. So he's down a strike. Marlins are down a run, 5th inning. And in the air to left, right at Duvall. Adams got it. Mind your divot, please. 2 outs. And Gossman settled down. He's retired 5 straight after the Castro home run. And 10 of his last 11 hitters.
And you look at his pitch counts at 75 tonight. He hasn't seemed to have the greatest command tonight, but here he is up 3-2 in the 5th inning with 1 more out to get through it. So really grinded out and came back and is having a nice little start for himself.
Yeah, you give up 2 runs over 6 innings or so. That's excellent work. Ortega, the batter, he's walked, stolen a base, scored, and popped out.
I think that's the mark of any solid major league starter, though. It's easy to win when you got your A1 stuff like he had the other night against Milwaukee. You know, how good can you be? How much can you keep your team in the game when you're a little off? And he's done a good job of that so far. It's terrific.
That's whacked toward right. Markakis will play that off the padding. Beautifully played. And his throw to second will hold Ortega to a long single.
Well, Nick's got that down, doesn't he? He's got the new wall figured out.
And it's so perfect because you see how slow Nick ran after it. He knows that if this ball doesn't hit that little piece right there, it's a double. It's going to hit the screen. It's going to drop there. But if it hits that, it's coming right back to me quick. And that's a guy that knows how to play.
It's hard for young outfielders to realize you're not going to catch every one. And if you're not going to catch it, you got to stop and be prepared to play that carom.
So Real Muto, the batter, he's lined out and he's whistled a ground ball that Freddie Freeman speared for an 0-for-2 start to his game. And that's in for a strike. Braves have 1 more series left with the Marlins. It'll be down in Miami starting a week from tomorrow. Braves will start their road trip in Pittsburgh against the Pirates. And 0-2 for Real Muto with 2 outs.
You mentioned the Cardinals last night, the night before, Chip, playing good baseball. They've won 7 in a row.
They have won 7 in a row. Mike Schilt is their manager. He has won more games after 27 games than any other manager in Cardinals history.
No kidding.
At 18-9.
Wow.
Think about that. Ren Schoendienst, Whitey Herzog, Tony La Russa in recent vintage. He's got the Redbirds playing great. They've won 5 straight series. And all of a sudden they are within 4 games of the hated Cubs in the Central Division race.
And Matt Carpenter has been unbelievable.
Oh.
Nice play, young man.
If St. Louis somehow sneaks back into that wild card, I would have to find it hard not to, and I know this sounds crazy, as good as our players, Matt Carpenter's definitely got to be up there top 2 or 3 MVP voting.
If the Cardinals win tonight, they'll pull into a tie with Milwaukee for the 2nd wild card. Something many thought inconceivable a month ago or so.
Well, they're scoring a ton of runs.
Yeah.
And won another close one last night with Washington.
I saw where Carlos Martinez is going to be moved to the bullpen the rest of the year.
That's
He's
formidable.
Yeah.
Well, it's going so good for the Cardinals that John Gant, the former Brave, hit a homer yesterday. Runner goes, swing and a miss. That's the inning. So Gossman is shut down frame. He strikes out Real Muto, and the top of the order coming up, looking to extend the lead.
In case you missed it, it is Braves Community Heroes Week. And today it was Life LaRoche for chess and community. At his school, he thought he was getting interviewed for a local radio station. The Braves hopped in, put $5,000 in the chess and community account. And this is Life LaRoche right here with me. This is his wife, Brittany. We got Life Jr. And how about this name? Legend right here. Yes. Hey, congratulations. That's a huge honor.
Yes.
I first want to know, you got ambushed today. What'd that feel like?
It was, I usually, as a chess player, I usually like to be 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. So walking in this situation, and I was completely caught off guard. So it was, I felt honored, you know what I mean, that someone recognized it. So it was a beautiful thing.
That's a sneak attack move right there. You didn't see that bishop coming.
Yes.
But here's the deal. If you guys don't know, with his charity, he takes kids and teaches them about life through chess and thinking ahead.
Yes, it's so important. We see so much problems going on in the world, and we have to start teaching our kids how to solve problems.
Okay.
So chess is a game of critical thinking. How do you respond to a situation rather than react to a situation? How do you think 5, 6, 10 moves ahead, and then applying that to your life, not just on the chessboard? So once we can get kids to start adapting or engaging in that kind of thought process, the future is bright.
One of the moves that you did up in New York, you were a Mets fan, you came down here and we converted you.
Yeah, of course. I'm in Brave country, so, you know, go Braves. You know how it is. And, you know, of course, I'm a UJ Bulldog, so go Dogs. But really, I'm in Braves country, so I enjoy it.
Chip Carey's glad you said go Dogs, but real quick, Brittany, are you proud of this man?
Of course.
Way to go, guys. I got to tell you, the Braves getting in the brawl early, you saw it. What would you tell them?
Oh, man, I would tell them, think before you move. That's the motto for chess and community. Think before you move. We got a lot of kids out here watching, so think about it. But at the same time, you don't let nobody take advantage of you. So, hey.
Hey, I like it. That is great advice right there. For more information on Life LaRoche's Chess and Community Organization, visit chessandcommunity.org. And if you know someone who should be honored during our next Community Heroes Week, you can nominate them by visiting braves.com/community heroes. Chip, Jeff, and Joe.
That is really awesome. I mean, these people are so wonderful, commendable what they're doing, and what Life is doing with chess. I mean, that struck a chord with me. You know, trying to think ahead.
Fly ball to right by Ozzie as Javi Guerra's the pitcher. And quickly there are 2 out. Yeah, I was talking with Mr. LaRoche today up in Athens, He said that chess club has members ranging in age from 12 to 88 years old.
Wow.
And this program is not just in Atlanta, but it's spreading all across the United States. He's taking these kids on trips to Africa, South Africa, Europe, South America, spreading this message of using chess as a way to enhance your life and your mind. It's
really something.
Really great. And now Freddie Freeman's hit. He's going to take first base. And again, the decision of Chad Fairchild looms large here. Nobody arguing from the Braves bench. Freddie hit the pitch that got away.
I don't
know. Chad pointed out at him after he hit him, and
that's just a cutter that ran in.
Yeah, right here he kind of pointed. Maybe he was just pointing at first base.
Yeah,
that's what he was
so.
doing. I'm glad, because that was not intentional at all.
I'll tell you his advice though on thinking before reacting. That's why he's smarter than I am. I would have trouble doing that. I definitely would have reacted before I thought.
So Markakis the batter. Braves have done some good work with 2 outs tonight. The Swanson 2-run homer put them in front. Braves have been an excellent 2-out run scoring team all year this year.
Did you play him in chess today?
No, no chance.
You even know how to play chess?
Very badly.
I like Paul's line. Didn't see the bishop coming.
2 balls, no strikes. 3-2 Atlanta trying to sweep the Marlins and win their 9th in 12 tries overall. Guerra ready, the pitch. Went right over the top, a fastball strike. Again, Miami has an off day tomorrow. We're going to see a parade of relievers after Urena was thrown out after throwing 1 pitch. And that missed outside. 3 balls and a strike.
Sorry, Chip. 3rd game for Guerra in this series out of 4. Like Garcia, a little better fastball, up to 94, slider, curve change.
Let's see what he throws to. Markakis here, 3-1. Popped up. And this one over toward 3rd, and Anderson is there. He's got it. And Markakis is retired, and so are the Braves. We go to the 6th, 3-2 Atlanta. Baseball, we say it all the time. You miss the first pitch of a game in Atlanta, you miss a lot. Jose Urena smoked Ronald Acuna Jr. with homers in 5 consecutive games on the very first pitch. Braves came out, they were livid. Brian Snitker went nose to nose with Urena. Eric Young went nose to nose with Brian Anderson. After a huddle, Urena was thrown out of the ball game. Warnings were issued and order was restored. Unfortunately, though, fellas, Acuna had to leave the game in the second inning, and we've gotten no word yet on how severely that elbow or arm is hurting after being hit by a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Joe, we've watched it about 10 times tonight, and you were the one that noticed kind of Anderson kind of provoking EY a little bit.
Yeah, kind of putting his face in there. I don't know what he was saying to him, but it's not like EY to do that. He's usually calm and collected, but Anderson did something to provoke him.
Maybe he's mad that he's not going to win Rookie of the Year.
Maybe.
1 ball, no strikes. Kevin Gausman set down 11 of his last 13. He's been staked to a 1-run lead. He has the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Miami coming up. He's allowed just 4 hits in his second home start with the Braves. Got that one over. Pretty pitch, 2-1 the count. Again, an arm side miss. 3 balls and a strike. Starlin Castro homered his last time up. He waits on deck. Full count. Braves would love to get Gausman through 6. Pitch number 88 is scheduled now. And it's grounded towards short. Dansby's got it. And a high throw, but Freeman stretches out number 1.
Guys, I want to go back. I keep seeing things, and here's another look at JT Realmuto. Don't watch Acuna. Watch Realmuto. He has this look about him like, see this look and his head down. He's not even thinking about going out and making sure nobody's going to charge the mound. He's disgusted.
And you see Urena right there. He is wide open. No one's there.
No.
Just awful. And Starlin Castro is the batter. Double play and a homer for him. Strike 1. Braves last swept the Marlins in a 4-game series in 2006. They're up a run tonight at home. And Gausman's way ahead 0-2 to Castro. Starlin's an all-star player 4 times with the Cubs and with the Yankees. 6th in the league in hits. And if it weren't for Scooter Gennett of the Cincinnati Reds, he'd lead the National League in hits as a second baseman and in batting average. That's how good a year he and Gennett have had. And Castro with 37 multi-hit games. Again, a young player who has another year on his deal, another guy that can help the Marlins this year and next, either in uniform or if he puts up big numbers, maybe he'd be an attractive trade candidate during the winter meetings this offseason.
That was always a weird trade to me right off the bat when he kind of burst onto the scene there in Chicago, and then it was like before long they just shipped him off to New York after a couple all-star seasons.
Ground ball left side. Charlie glides to his left, and a strong throw gets Castro 2 outs. So here's Dietrich. He's 1 for 2. Gausman is settling in nicely. He's retired 13 of 15. That's a trend we've seen on the homestand and of late, fellas. Our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
6-1 individual records this month. Excellent sub-3 ERA.
So Dietrich, a single and a ground out. Shift on for him. Ball one. Right there and still throw it hard. 94 miles an hour. Another one at 94. It's 1-2. Dietrich almost fell down. He swung so hard.
And I think this tells you where we're at as an organization right here. We're talking about a guy tonight who maybe we felt like hasn't had the best stuff that he had the other day, and yet here he is about to go 6 innings and give up 2 runs. And quite frankly, could maybe even go back out for the 7th if they decide.
Sure.
And that's just something in the past that, you know, we didn't have.
Well, the first 2 innings, he was really struggling. You know, he was struggling to throw strikes. He walked the leadoff batter in the first. He gave up a hit and a walk in the 2nd inning, pitched around that. And then all of a sudden he started kind of finding himself. He gave up the homer to Castro, but not much else.
One-two pitch. Swing and a miss. If that was his final pitch, he finished with a flourish.
Boy, he really took him up the ladder, too. Great job.
Gossman has retired 14 of his last 16 hitters. He preserves the lead. Braves are up in the bottom of the 6th. It's the stretch. It's presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Braves have a 1-run lead as we welcome you back to SunTrust Park. A few minutes past the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. All 3 Atlanta runs came in the 4th inning. The big blow at Dansby Swanson, 2-run homer to straightaway center off Harlan Garcia. Now it's Drew Rucinski. He's the 5th Miami pitcher of the game. And Charlie Culberson greets him first. And Rucinski gets ahead, strike 1.
He got knocked around a little bit in game 2 on Monday night. An inning and a third, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, but it was intentional. A lot of cutters, change up the curve.
He gave up the RBI hit to Fultonevich in that game. But he's quickly ahead here, 2 strikes. Culberson with a double. He scored a run, also stole a base. Charlie at third base tonight. Camargo gets a night off. And driven down the right field line on an 0-2 count. Charlie Culberson takes one the other way, and a great start to the Atlanta 6th inning. He is something else.
Jeff, we talk all the time about a guy who certainly Charlie could turn on the ball as he did earlier tonight. But behind in the count, guys shortening up their swing and thinking about plate coverage, and he did just that.
But think about it. First time, second time up, he kind of gets the bat head out for a double in left center. Now he's taking a few nice hacks, and he says, all right, it's time to play pepper right there. That right there reminded me of a Michael Young swing back in the day with the Rangers. 2 strikes, bam, I'm shooting it the other way.
Let's not forget Ender's key at bat in the 4th inning. After Culberson stole third, the Braves were down 2-zip. All he did was put the ball in play to first. Culberson scored the first run, and 2 followed. See if he can get him over again here with nobody out.
Well, that's the great thing to me about our lineup, and shows you that we're a playoff type team and a team that can play into October, because look, tonight the bottom of the lineup's doing it for us.
Well, and another thing on the heels of your comment is with his first double, stealing third, heads up play, got to third, manufactured the run with a ground out. That was outstanding work. That was postseason stuff.
That one is hit up the middle, a base hit, slowly hit. Here comes Charlie to score. 2 RBI night for Ender. Sierra bobbles the ball, and Ender moves up another 90 feet.
This is what fans love. This is what they are enjoying watching and have since day one this year. Any bobble, any mistake, any lackadaisical play, the Braves are going to take advantage of it. Great job to get the run in. First of all, he was going to get him over. He got him in instead, and then took the extra base.
And this is a perfect example, guys, right here. If you play unselfish baseball, it'll come back for you, and you'll have another opportunity. And that's something Ender right there. Last time up, instead of trying to hit a sac fly, do something crazy, he just hits a little ground ball, and now he gets a chance and gets another ribby.
And center field has been a house of horrors for Magneuris Sierra in this series. Another error allowed Ender to take the extra 90 feet. Made an error in center last night. He's thrown to the wrong base a couple of times for Miami. All part of the learning curve that Don Mattingly and Freddie Gonzalez and that entire Marlins staff is going to have to endure the final 6 weeks. The Braves open up a 2-run advantage, leading 4-2 now.
I think in center again right there, Joe, he lifted his head up again. I don't know if he hadn't learned his lesson yet.
Ender's going to try to take third, and he's going to make it on a slide. That's his 24th stolen base.
Again, take advantage of what they give you.
When you want to talk about it, you want to know a way to get back at a team, embarrass them like this. Play baseball, steal bases, take the extra bags.
Infield in for Tyler.
That was Ender's first stolen base since the 4th of July, when he stole third base against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. So he's been on 23 for a while. The Braves are going to try to pour it on here in the 6th. 4-2. Runner at third, nobody out, infield in. And that one is tipped and caught. And Flowers is out on strikes. 1 out. So Ender's at third, 1 away. Dansby Swanson hit one over the center field fence. His 10th home run. That is our StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Deepest part of the ballpark. 414 feet.
Seems to me that the launch angle seems to be 26 degrees every time someone hits a home run.
It might be.
So I think that's the key. Get the launch angle to 26.
Walt Weiss might have been out talking to Chad Fairchild, make sure that was the 3rd strike on Tyler Flowers.
Yeah, Tyler looked confused about being rung up. Board had it 1-2.
He may not have known that Chad called one of the pitches a strike. Thought it was a ball.
Yeah, because you could definitely tell when he swung through, he just walked back like, I got one more.
Infield still in for Dansby. And that one struck towards Sierra in center. There's the catch. Ender tags. Here comes the throw. It's strong, but not strong enough. A 3 RBI night for Dansby, and the Braves have a 3-run lead. This has been a beautiful inning to watch.
Great piece of hitting again right there, Joe.
Good night for the shortstop.
And now with a 5-2 lead, the Braves will turn things over to the bullpen as Ryan Flaherty will come on and pinch hit. Kevin Gausman struck out 2 over 6 innings. He allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, and a couple of walks.
Both the strikeouts, 1 in each of the last 2 innings he pitched, too, to give you a sign of how he had kind of gotten back into a groove.
He retired 14 of the last 16 hitters he faced in the game. So the Braves have touched up Garcia, and now Rucinski 4 runs. Garcia gave up 3, Rucinski 2 so far. And quickly Flaherty behind 0-2. That's off the plate, a ball and 2 strikes. Phillies have taken the lead at home now, 4-3 over the Red Sox. The Cardinals lead Washington 1-0 in the home 5th in St. Louis. Hellickson and Gomber are the pitchers at Busch Stadium. Two and two.
Boy, that's burying that baseball in between your fingers.
Up the middle and right back to the pitcher. Nice athletic play, and that retires the side. Jeff, you said it very well. The bottom of the order is getting it done for Atlanta tonight. 2 more runs in the 6th, and Atlanta extends the lead. Chevrolet find new roads.
And once again, nothing but A's across those caps tonight. And if you just joined us, Ronald Acuna Jr. hit with the first pitch of the game in what appeared to be an intentional toss to hit him by Jose Urena, who was immediately thrown out of the ball game or subsequently tossed out. But the Braves have come back after trailing 1-0. Good night for Charlie Culberson and a big night for Dansby. A 2-run homer in the fourth to give the Braves the lead, and Kevin Gausman a real solid 6 innings for the Braves on the mound.
And he now gives way to Johnny Venters, who will face Dean Riddle and Sierra. And ball 1 is outside. Speaking of straight A's, that's something I hope my sons will start to get. Big week for us in the Carey family. First the 1-0 pitch as Dean pops one up into straightaway right field. Markakis will make the play. My son Christopher Carey is enrolled at Valdosta State. He's watching the game tonight, and my youngest twin Stefan is watching the game with his roommate Mitchell Hedstrom at Wingate University tonight.
Yeah, good luck to the twins. You know, don't be afraid to mix in a little studying.
Yeah,
it is called college.
I might go hang out with Christopher for a weekend and just teach him, you know, college and just what you got to do down at Valdosta.
Yeah.
Study.
Well, then our Chevy game summary will show straight C's later on.
What's wrong with that?
I'm really proud of my boys, and I know they're going to have a great time. So exciting times.
Wish them well. Great time of life.
And I feel sorry for the folks in the cafeterias, because those two boys can eat.
Yes, they can. Seen it happen.
Oh, it is Francoeur-like. That's terrifying. 2 balls, no strikes. Bouncing ball foul.
I'll tell you what, it shows you how fast time goes by too. When I broke into the big leagues, they were starting kindergarten, and you'd be down there throwing them down in the pool. And
wow.
Now to think that I got one that's 5, and it's like, wow.
I will give you the advice that my buddy David Steele with the Orlando Magic told me. It goes by in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
And you guys are getting close to numero 3, right?
Another month, 5 weeks.
Talk about exciting. That's.
Did you say 3 kids for Katie?
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. 4. Bless her heart. Pitch pulled foul, and that rattles around the camera.
Paul.
Well, Paul, you all right?
Birdie.
Oh,
I'm well.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's his
Where's
head
Waldo?
coming up
Braves
behind the
cameraman is not.
Uh-oh.
Yep, so.
Johnny turns it loose. 3-2. It's grounded towards second. Ozzie charges, backhands, and flips. And Riddle is retired. 2 up, 2 down. 1 more out to get, then we'll enjoy the stretch presented by Synovus, the bank of here.
I know we got Brock, and I know we got Gaz and Adam Duvall, but I was so happy when Johnny came back. I mean, you talk about all this guy's been through, and to be able to come back here. You know, we've got to spend a lot of time. Our kids are actually going to be in the same kindergarten class this year.
That's neat.
And so I get to see him a lot during the offseason, and what he went through. I don't know many people that would have kept going. I know I wouldn't be able to.
3.5 Tommy John surgeries, and the half meaning the doctors could not do the ligament replacement because of all the other drilling that had to go into the bones. It wouldn't have been stable enough. So there was a new procedure that helped repair the tendon, not replace it. And Sierra's pushed off the plate. But the amazing thing is, after all those surgeries, he's come back, he's still throwing 94 miles an hour.
It's funny because I try to go tell some of those young kids down there, I said, I know you think he's pretty good right now. I said, go watch some film of about 8 years ago. Yeah. I said, you won't believe it.
When you said 3.5, Chip, and started describing it, you know, they have to, when they transplant that ligament, it's got to come from somewhere. You were going to say he was out of ligaments. They couldn't find any more.
You're right. Well, there's spare parts in there, but I don't think they're that many. As the Marlins center fielder digs in 2-2, and that's low, full count. Well, I love what Johnny said when he got back to Atlanta. The reality of the deal that the Braves wanted him back and that he earned his way back here was after the game when he went home and got to go sit on his own couch and relax in his own living room, not a hotel room or an apartment in Tampa. Amazing. And he just struck out Sierra. A 1-2-3 frame.
Not to mention, he earned it. He earned it to come back. Alex had no, it wasn't a feel-good story. He deserved it.
Well, that inning's a feel-good story, and we hope to hear some more feel-good stories here on The Stretch.
Welcome to The Stretch, presented by Synovus, the bank of here.
Welcome to The Stretch, brought to you by Synovus, the bank of here. Jerome and Brian back out on the Fox Sports set in the heart of the Battery. And after we take care of the Marlins tonight, it's the Rockies coming to town. Should be an interesting series because they are right in the thick of it out in the National League West. Now, tonight they're getting beat up badly by the Astros. They have no answer for Garrett Cole. He's got 11 strikeouts through 6, and they're blowing them away 10-1. Colorado getting beat. But last night they were right in there. Matter of fact, they beat Verlander. And Arenado was the DH first time in his life last night, hit number 30. They can pound the baseball, Brian, no question.
Well, that's the key. If Arenado's healthy, I mean, not only is he the best third baseman defensively, but one of an MVP candidate. And those guys around him, Story, this guy can launch also, having a terrific year. This is a real good Rockies team coming into SunTrust this weekend.
You always heard about the Rockies and out in the thin air of Colorado, but look at Story. Last 38 games, almost 350. Arenado, 30 home runs. On the road, 79 big flies, Brian. It's not just about Colorado. It's every ballpark they play. They're not quite the Blake Street Bombers that they were a long time ago, but they can still mash.
Man, they can get it done. And Charlie Blackmon leading away at that leadoff spot. I mean, he has a terrific year every year, an all-star this year. They have a good ball club all around in the outfield, infield. They play good defense. It's all about pitching for those guys. If those pitchers come to play, which they've been doing all year long, it's pretty tough.
Much like last weekend with Milwaukee, another possible playoff preview this weekend at SunTrust Park. Let's get you back upstairs. Before we do, a quick word from our friends at Synovus.
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Proudly serving you across the Southeast. Synovus, the bank of here.
Hey, BJ, this is Joe up in the booth. I've had to sit on the guy to my left here, Frank Coor, after what happened in the first inning. How about you? What's your take on it?
I was very upset, and old school baseball, there's going to be some fisticuffs thrown, after that first pitch to protect Acuna. I mean, this guy's been terrific, and you hit him the second, third pitch, maybe not so bad, but the first pitch of the game, clearly intentional. I don't think it came from Mattingly. I really believe Ariano, Urano, whatever his name is, did it on purpose. And, man, you got to pay the price. I might have thrown a knuckle or two out there.
BJ, I knew you'd say that. I was up here. Dude, you should have seen me up here. These guys were about to have to hold me down because I just, I'm old school. A guy flips his bat, does whatever, but all Ronald's done is have a good time and play hard. And for that to happen, man, I thought that was really cheap.
Yeah.
And I figured you'd be a football guy, too. You were ready to roll.
No question about it. I thought one of the veterans should have jumped out there first and led the charge there. I mean, you have to send a message back to Miami on that. When Acuna's going so good, the last thing you want to see is that player get hit and injured in any way, because it could affect the rest of the season.
Yeah, and we still haven't heard any word as to the severity of the injury, BJ. And we will await word from Major League Baseball. The umpires, after every game, when there's an incident like this, they file a report that is sent to the league office, and the league disciplinary officers, Joe Torre and company, take a look at the incident, take a look at the video, take a look at the circumstances, and then determine whether or not any kind of suspension is warranted. And
well, I got to believe if you said Cole Hamels was 5 games when he hit Bryce, it's probably what it's going to be. What do you think, Joe?
I'm thinking 10.
I hope it is.
I mean, first pitch of the game.
Yeah, that's true. Cole didn't hit him, I think, until like later in the game, maybe.
It was so blatant.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be in the hands of the head honchos at Major League Baseball's offices in New York. If you think about facing Urania again, well, we're running out of time to do that. Braves have 4 games left on the calendar starting August 23rd with them down in Miami. But things like that, memories of that, those don't necessarily fade with the passage of a calendar season. The old so-called book that players would keep back in Joe's day, maybe even in Jeff's day too, that will be something that is remembered the next time the Braves see Urania, whether he's a Marlin or maybe even somewhere else.
And part of me thinks, Joe, that we're not going to see him again this year, even though we go there for 4 games, because I believe he's going to be suspended. He'll do what they all do. He'll appeal. It'll last about 4 or 5 games, and then by the time we go down there, they'll make sure he's sitting out when we go down there.
That would be a smart thing.
3-1 pitch. Freddie shoots it through the shift on the infield, and he's got another multi-hit game, his 42nd of the year. And Freeman now with 149 hits on the year is aboard against Graves. Brett Graves, who took over to start this home 7th inning.
They moved the third baseman over to that side. Maybe if that's Riddle playing there, he gets to that ball.
So Markakis, the batter. Nickel trying to continue his 11-game hitting streak. He's hit the ball in the air 3 times tonight. To left, to center, and he's popped out to the third baseman. And that's in for a strike. It's 0-1. St. Louis has extended their lead over Washington 3-0. Told you about a week and a half ago. Look out for the Cardinals. They are getting hot at the right time, trying to win their 8th straight. And you have to wonder if those 2 ninth-inning losses back-to-back were, if not the final nails for Washington in the Eastern race. Just how devastating will those be for them? They will have a chance to get healthy at home. They play Miami next, as we told you. A 3-game series starting Friday night, and if the Nationals rotation stays the way I think it will, they'll get Max Scherzer on the mound back at Nationals Park. That's chopped to the right side. Dietrich will race to the bag and beat Markakis, and that will send us to inning number 8. Atlanta in command, 5-2.
Atlanta. Wednesday night Braves baseball on Fox Sports Southeast is presented by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Big night for Dansby Swanson, hitting 8th for the Braves. A 2-run homer, a sacrifice fly, a 3 RBI game. As the Braves have a 5-2 advantage going to the 8th inning. Brad Brock will step in now. And he's got the 9-1-2 hitters for Miami starting things. Isaac Galloway will pinch hit. And swung right through the first one. Rosinski pitched an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs. Graves an inning of 1 hit ball. No walks or strikeouts. And as we said, with Ureña's silliness dispensed with, it's a bullpen game for the Marlins with the day off in Washington tomorrow. A ball and a strike for Galloway. And this one's popped up right side. Freeman retreats. And he makes the catch in shallow right. 1 man down. Braves have retired 8 men in a row. MLB at Bat, your #1 Braves app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this year. Get Braves home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
You know, it'll be fun, guys. I'm going to be in the booth next couple nights with y'all, but I got confirmation that Andrew's going to come up, Andrew Jones, and join us for an inning tomorrow night to talk about Ronald.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great.
So make sure you join in for that tomorrow night. Can't wait to hear what he's got to say.
Rafael Ortega's the batter. He's reached twice. He scored 1 of the 2 Miami runs. And this has been pretty much the state of play offensively for Miami the last couple of weeks. They've scored 3 or fewer runs, counting tonight's play, in 12 of their last 14 games. Last night they scored 6 runs, but gave up 10 and lost. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a paint job.
First action for Brad Brock in this series. Worked in 2 games against Milwaukee. Got holds in both of those.
And I know we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but you look at the Marlins bullpen, I'm pretty sure we've seen almost the same guys every night out of necessity, where for us, fresh guys. How do you win? Deep bullpen. And that's what's given Brian Snickers a chance to not have to throw the same guys every night.
Well, when you have a deep bullpen, having your starters pitch deep in the game helps too. Gossman went 6, Sanchez went 5, Fultonevich went 8 in the second game of the doubleheader. Tukey in his debut went 6. So Freeman, nice pick, and he is going to save Brad Brock a step or 2 at the first base bag. Freddie's had a couple of good grabs over there. 2 outs. So it's all coming together very nicely for the Braves in this series so far.
Freddie's feeling fast tonight.
Yeah, he is. He's made a couple of really nice plays to the backhand side.
You got to show up Dietrich, saying, if Dietrich, you're going to run all over there, I'll show you I can do it.
And here's Real Muto.
You see Flowers talk. I'm sure Real Muto's heard it from almost all the Braves guys coming up tonight saying, are you kidding me? You know that?
You know it. There's been several guys come up and ask him about what happened.
Well, for me, for what it's worth, his reaction immediately after Acuna got hit and his reaction in the aftermath made me like him even more. To Jeff's point, if it was a one-off one-man decision, Real Muto said, you made the decision, you wear it.
Yeah. He honestly, it was a look of disgust to me. Body language.
1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball center. Ender on the run, still chasing. He slows. He's got it. Real Muto hit it a ton, but he's retired. 3 up and 3 down. Bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
Folks, we are lucky to have the best production crew in Major League Baseball working alongside us every night here in Atlanta and on the road. Joe, Jeff, and I, Tom Glavine, Paul Bird, we're just the conduits for all of their hard work in the truck. And all the fantastic pictures you have seen tonight have been directed by Gary Lehman, who is working his final Braves broadcast of the season tonight. Gary's getting ready to go to work for the Atlanta Hawks for their coverage on Fox South and Southeast. And Gary, it's been a great 2018 season with you at the controls, and we wish you and all the great folks with Fox and the Hawks a great winter basketball season, and we can't wait to see you next spring.
You're here. Well done, sir.
Yes, sir.
Charlie Culberson leads off the 8th. Couple of doubles, couple of runs.
I love it when he answered you. You know, when he replied.
Yeah.
Ready for take 4. Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much the way Gary gets it done.
How he rolls.
Yes, sir. The 2-0 pitch is fouled away. 2 balls and a strike.
There's a funny video of Andrew McCutcheon talking about the brawl last night.
Oh, the Puig Hundley tete-a-tete.
Yes, but he said that he was looking down at the ground thinking about his at bat, and he said, next thing you know, I hear the fans and look up and I see 2 people going at it. He said, next thing I know, I see the bullpen running by me. I think, man, my reaction time's slow.
How about Charlie? A 3-hit night.
He said by the time I got there, everybody was just hanging out.
That's funny. Have a night, Charlie.
Don't we say that every night?
Yeah, we do. Cutter. Right back at him.
Charlie's found a home for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Well, the Giants are trying to make life tougher on the Dodgers, who've lost 5 in a row. LA's all of a sudden in 3rd place out in the West. Giants are only 3 games behind them. Tonight it's Derek Holland and Hyun-Jin Ryu. Ryu pitching for the first time since May 2nd. As this one's lined to 3rd, and Culberson has to hustle back. Ender lines out, and he's had a good night at the plate. 1 away. The Braves Foundation and Fox Sports South are looking for inspirational individuals throughout Braves country to honor during Community Heroes Week in 2019. If you'd like to nominate a friend, family member, neighbor, or colleague who's going above and beyond to positively impact those around them, visit braves.com/communityheroes. Tyler Flowers, 1 on, 1 out. And that's ball 1.
Tyler wants to make sure he doesn't get shortchanged this time in case that count was wrong earlier. He struck out, but he thought he was still alive.
Another interesting baseball note tonight. Pittsburgh was in Minnesota and lost 6-4 to the Twins. But the interesting story in that game was one of the umpires. Joe West worked that game today.
Yeah.
Second most games umpired in Major League history at the conclusion of play at Target Field.
He passed what, Bruce Fleming tonight,
yes, sir.
right?
5,164 games. The only man who's umpired more games than Joe West now is Bill Clem with 5,375.
Good for Joe.
Cowboy Joe.
That is quite an accomplishment. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Tyler swings through that one and is struck out. And Graves has his first strikeout. 2 outs in the inning. And Dansby Swanson gets another turn, and he ought to get a nice hand. He's had a terrific game at the plate.
Well, hopefully these last 2 nights have given him a little bit of confidence and really get him going. Big hit last night. I know we talk about Acuna's 3-run homer to put us up 10-6, but he had the big single to keep us up with 2 outs to put us up 7-6.
Mm-hmm.
Marlins will have their 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up in the 9th. As that one dances outside, ball 1.
And see, that's the pitch we were talking about, Joe, before the game. Me and you were talking how if you're going to get the ball, that outside pitch right there, you don't have the plate recognition to see it. But if you're on your legs and in a good balanced position, you can attack that.
Dansby's last 3 RBI game for the Braves was June 6th when they were in San Diego to play the Padres.
Well, he's laid off both of those sliders or cutters, whatever they are, and they were borderline. Had a good look at them.
Hey, you see where he's hitting right now when you get that angle from the pitcher. Chipper used to do a good thing. Freeze yourself where your head's at when he starts, and then when you swing, see where your head goes. And his was so good at only moving about an inch. And sometimes I'd look at mine and I'd be down about a foot and I'd be like, that's not good. You see how it starts right there? You can see it just below the thing, and you see it's still moving a little bit, but I guarantee it's better.
2 balls, 1 strike. That's fly towards center, but Sierra will have a play. And we head to the 9th inning. The Braves need 3 outs for a 5-game winning streak and a 4-game sweep.
Let's hope we get a little help out of the Red Sox tonight. It was a close game up in Philadelphia. Our Xfinity Game Break takes you up to the city of brotherly love, where Wilson Ramos will break it open here with a 2-run double. However, it's 7-3 Phillies in the 8th, but the Red Sox have the bases loaded for Mookie Betts. All is not lost yet, fellas. Let's get you back up to the booth.
Go Red Sox go, as AJ Minter grabs the baseball. He'll come on for the 9th inning and try to save it for Kevin Gossman. Very effective relief from Venters and Brock so far. In fact, they pitched 2 perfect innings. And now Anderson will lead off the Miami 9th.
Is that Ramos's first game back?
It is. Came off. That was a big pickup for them. It's going to help them.
So Anderson with an RBI hit in the first inning. And AJ delivers a quick strike. Boy, this young man on the mound has come on for the Braves. AJ Minter has 10 saves, 4 wins.
He worked last night, but it was not a save situation. Gave up a hit, no damage.
That's where right there I keep saying, if he starts to learn how to hit that outside corner with that cutter he's got, ooh, watch out.
And the hitters will give up on it.
Well, yeah, you're so tentative inside because you know he's going to pound you in.
No balls, 2 strikes. And an overpowering pitch at 93, cutting in on the hands of Anderson. There's the first out in the 9th. Grammy Award-winning DJ and producer Zedd will be performing at SunTrust on Friday the 31st of August. Come watch the Braves take on Pittsburgh and stay for the free post-game concert presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets at braves.com/Zedd.
Chip, you going to spend some beats with him out there?
With Zedd?
Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued by this silent disco thing that our producer Brian Woodrum was telling us about.
He's a big fan of it.
Well, Joe and I are old enough to remember when the real discos existed. But we're told it's a silent disco.
You know, yeah, but you ought to be used to that. I see you all the time on the charter with your headphones on, and you are getting down in the aisle.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Guys have said they've never seen moves like that before. But yeah, the silent disco, everybody walks around with headphones on and the music is playing in their headphones, not in the venue.
When you're doing it on the plane, most of us think there's turbulence.
1 ball, 1 strike. So that'll be fun. The silent disco is coming up. Jeff, you going to be here for that one too?
I have to check my schedule.
Get back to us, will you?
I will. I'll make sure to.
Two and one for Starlin Castro. And that's out of play right side. He swung late.
You know, you were talking about Castro earlier with the Cubs, and I remember talking to Joe Madden during the postseason a few years ago when he got moved off shortstop when they got Addison Russell, and they moved him to second base, and Joe Madden couldn't say enough nice things about his acceptance of that move in an effort to make the team better. Terrific compliment.
Popped him up. And Freddie Freeman at the first base bag, all by his lonesome, has that. 2 away. August college nights are going strong here at SunTrust Park. And Vanderbilt, the University of Florida, Ole Miss, and Auburn Knights are coming up next. We'll round out the college nights program with the University of South Carolina September 3rd. Get your ticket and co-branded hat also at Braves.com. So you'll want to stay tuned for Braves Live. I am sure we are going to have a most interesting, maybe even animated series of sound bites from the Atlanta locker room after tonight's game. Might even get some sound from the Marlins as well, talking about what they had to say about Acuna being hit by Jose Urena.
I think I'm more interested from hearing some of Urena's teammates, Joe, than I am the actual Braves guys. I want to hear what they have to say.
It'll be interesting.
So you'll stick around for that, we hope, after one more strike to Derek Dietrich. 19,045 paid attendance. Braves have gone over 1.8 million in attendance at SunTrust Park this year. And they are rolling. 1 strike away from a 6-1 start to this critically important homestand. And a pitch is cut on and missed, and that's your ball game. A.J. Minter strikes out a pair in the 9th inning, and the Braves come back and avenge the injury to Ronald Acuna, winning 5-2. Charlie Culberson 3 hits. Dansby Swanson 3 RBIs. Gossman the winner. Minter the save. And Atlanta sweeps the Marlins in this 4-game series. Your final 5-2, fellas. Here's your Coors Light refreshing finish. It wasn't a refreshing start as Acuna plunked, but then the Braves bats went to work, and the bottom part of the order is what got it done for Atlanta tonight. Plenty to talk about on Braves Live. It's going to be a doozy. Stick around for that. We will recap Game 4 and preview the Rockies series coming up right after the break.